This is the story of how I got scammed by someone pretending to be a landlord. A few years ago, I lost nearly £5,000 on a rent-to-rent deal, and I can laugh about it now, but at the time, and still to this day, it's probably the most painful lesson I've had to endure during this property journey. And the scam does go on, so in this video, I'm going to break it down exactly how this scam works. So if you are looking to take on rent-to-rent deals, you can basically avoid falling into the same trap that I did. So going back a few years now, the majority of our properties were based in sort of the West Midlands and also in the Yorkshire area. We only had about 2 or 3 properties at the time in London, but they were our best performing units. So we were really looking to take on more properties inside of London. Now, in the property space, there's something called deal sourcing. And if you don't know what that is, it's essentially where you find a property deal, but instead of taking it on yourself, in terms of you signing on the contract and then taking on the deal, you basically then sell it on to another investor or operator and charge them a finder's fee for the deal. So think of it almost like a finder's fee as like a broker. And it's a nice way to make some extra money on the side within the property industry, or some people even do deal sourcing full time. But anyway, there was a deal sourcer we'd worked with in the past, and one morning we woke up and she texted saying, "I've got an amazing deal inside London. Could you find someone to take it on?" So we were like, cool, let's have a look at the deal. And it was actually an amazing deal. Looking back, probably too good to be true. It was about £2,500 a month with bills included, a really nice, like modern sort of finished apartment, like a central London sort of location. And we said, you know what, forget selling this one on to someone else. We'll even take it ourselves and pay you a fee for it. So later that day, I took a train up to central London to go view this property because apparently there was a lot of interest naturally and the landlord was looking to get it gone. So I didn't want to miss out on the deal, so we were looking to move fast. So anyway, I take the train up to central London that evening, go to the property, great location, and when I get there, it's basically like a young guy and someone else. There was 2 of them in their 20s, and they were sort of foreign. And basically the spiel they gave to me was that the property was owned by their father. They were like Eastern European, so I presume they were like some rich Russian family who owned loads of properties. And they were basically telling me how their dad owns loads of properties throughout London. He's a property developer. He's got units in Chelsea. They're telling me about properties in Paddington, all these kind of things. So I was like, cool, this could be a great connect. I'm here with a few rent-to-rents. I've got my nice clothes on, trying to impress. I'm thinking, yeah, this could be a great connection for me it's gonna take me out of the hood. Anyway, so I'm walking around the property, I'm doing the viewing, everything's amazing, everything's in good order, but it's actually already set up as like a service accommodation Airbnb. So I was kind of curious at that point, so I asked the question, like, is it currently been run as an Airbnb or how come you're giving it up? And they said, well, it's actually been run by a management company for us at the moment, but they're not doing a very good job. We're not really happy with their service. So we're kind of done with this whole management model. We just want to give it to someone else who can give us a guaranteed rent. So I was like, yeah, this is exactly what I do. I'm like bringing up my portfolio, showing exactly how it will work, how I can guarantee the rent, all these sort of things. And they were pretty satisfied with what I was telling them. So done like a really thorough viewing. And they were saying, cool, well, what's your decision? Like, we've got a lot of other people who are coming for viewings. Like, are you serious? This and that. So I was like, yeah, you know what? I'm more happy to take it off you now. Like, let's just sign contracts and get the ball rolling. So if anyone knows me, knows that I always roll around with a bag and my laptop in it. So I literally pulled out my laptop at the time and pulled up one of our contract templates, put in the information. We agreed a few terms and stuff like that. And then, yeah, we literally signed contracts on the spot. And then I paid first month's rent and deposit to them as well. So literally just short of about £5,000. And they even handed over the keys at the time. So at this point, I'm chuffed thinking, yep, this is a great unit. It's gonna be highly profitable. It's gonna be a good connection. Hopefully they got more properties for me in the future, all these kind of things. And then they kind of just say, cool, that's it. Well, we'll kind of leave you to it. We're gonna get up and go. So I was like, all right, fair enough. They start sort of packing their stuff. They leave the property. And then just before they left, I was like, oh, actually, I forgot to get the lockbox code from you because the keys were actually in a lockbox at the front of the property. So he was like, yeah, I know the code. Let's go down, I'll show you. And then it was a little bit of a red flag, but I kind of looked past it. Like, he was trying the code in the lockbox, but it just wasn't working. He couldn't open it. And he was like, oh, don't worry, I'm gonna send our maintenance guy around tomorrow. He'll sort it out for you. Don't worry, everything will be in working order. I'll provide you with everything, this and that. So I didn't think too much of it, but it was probably a sign that this guy didn't really know exactly what he was doing. At this point now, the 2 of them have left the property and I'm there with the keys. I paid them the rent. I've signed contracts, everything's happy days. So I go back inside. I'm now getting my phone out, taking pictures. Yeah, gas, new unit. central London, I'm the man, I'm the boss, whatever. And then I was sitting there for a minute, and you know, you suddenly just start getting like a little bit of an uneasy gut feeling that something's not quite right. I was like, this is almost too good to be true. Have I walked into this unit and they've got spare linen for me, they've got a coffee machine, they've even got like coffee pods to go with it, they've got everything here, and I've just walked in here an hour later and I've just taken on this new deal. So anyway, I was like, cool, it's done now, it should be fine, I'm just overthinking it. Go home, it was quite late in the evening, and then the next day, I just sent over an email to the landlord just to kind of follow up on a few things we discussed, also about the lockbox situation and things like that, and I didn't get a response. Then an hour or two later, I was like, cool, let me drop a WhatsApp. Now it's going one tick. It's like, okay, something's not quite right here. Try a few phone calls, nothing's going through. Now I was kind of setting in like, damn, maybe we've fallen into a little bit of a scam here. So we started looking online, just trying to do a little bit more research, find out a bit more information about this property or who this landlord is, stuff like that. And what we ended up coming across was an Airbnb listing and a booking.com listing for the same exact property. And it was still live, it was still bookable. And we ended up getting in touch with the host who was actually managing the property. And he unfortunately broke the news to us to say, oh, sorry, mate, I think there's a scam going about. Someone else has contacted me saying exactly the same thing. I think it was just a guest who stayed at the property. So we're just like, oh my goodness me. A guest at another Airbnb has fooled us into thinking that they were the landlord for another unit. And it was so humiliating finding out that you fall into a scam, you've been naive and you lost all this money. Straight away, we got in touch with our bank. We even tried to contact like Action Fraud or the police or something, but it literally led nowhere. There was nothing we could do. Our bank said like, you were the one that sent the money to someone. It's not like your account was hacked or anything. And they gave us a refund of 77p as like a gesture of goodwill, which was honestly, that was just like kicking the balls when we was already on the floor. Like it was a bit of a joke. So in fact, the same scammers who actually fooled us, I think they probably done about 10, 15 grand in a week, because the property manager said that someone else was looking to move in with their stuff. And it wasn't until a neighbor stopped them in the entrance and said, mate, you can't bring dogs in this building, it's not allowed. And he was like, oh, what are you talking about? I was told by the landlord that I can. And then it obviously divulged that he fallen into the scam as well. So it wasn't just us, and it made us feel a little bit better, but it just goes to show that you need to be so careful when trying to take on rent-to-rent deals. Again, it kind of came back to us being a little bit hungry and naive to just take on any deal without doing all the thorough checks. There were a few like red sort of flags and alarms we probably didn't pay attention to, but again, no one really taught us this. And that's the thing, starting in property and rent to rent when you've got no prior experience about property or anything like that, it's very easy for the walls to be pulled over your eyes. So I didn't have any like mentor or anyone to kind of lean on or help guide me or advise me when I was taking on these deals. So I had to learn all these things the long way and the hard way. So that's why I always recommend people who are looking to start in property, at least get some advice or some help from someone who's already done it, so they can help you avoid costly mistakes like myself. Like for me, when I mentor all of my mentees now, some of the first things I teach them is how to do diligence properly on a property, so they can avoid falling into the same trap that I did. So there you have it. That was a little story about how I lost £5,000 and got scammed by someone. I've got plenty more stories to tell about my property journey as well, so I'll do plenty more videos in the future. But hopefully you found this one entertaining and you actually take the lesson from it as well. But yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.